Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaskara to all. Sadashiva Sambharambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru-Paramparam. A warm welcome to everyone on the fourth day of the third Global Festival of Oneness. Today we have Swamini Svatmavidyananda Saraswati ji, and the topic she's going to speak on is the salience of Pramana in Advaita Vedanta. We are blessed by your presence and my humble pranams to you, Swamini ji. A brief introduction about her. Dr. Swamini Swatmananda Vidya Saraswati ji has taught at several universities nationally and internationally, including the UC Berkeley. She is widely recognized as a scholar of Advaita Vedanta and is a disciple of Pujya Swamiji Sri Dayanand Saraswati ji. She is an internationally known Acharya of the Vedanta traditional, interfaith leader, and a scholastic author of Vedanta. Responsible for the inception of the All India Movement of Seva, which is popularly known as Aim for Seva. This is a non-profit organization enabling rural Indian children to receive a proper education. She is widely in demand for lectures, seminars in the USA and internationally for her expertise in the interreligious engagement and in-depth training and scholarship on Advaita Vedanta. Dr. Saraswati ji is the Acharya of Ashra Vijnana Gurukulam, which was founded in 2004 and has centers in Atlanta, Eugenia, Washington, D.C., Detroit, Milwaukee, and Fort Myers. With this brief introduction, over to you, Swaminiji.
Namaskara. Thank you, Soumya. I'm very happy that the Global Festival of Oneness is now in its third year, and it is not a small feat to organize this. Delighted to be part of this festival, and a big thank you for the seva rendered by all the people in Indica Moksha. They do this service with so much love and care. To put something of this magnitude on is a big thing. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badaraginam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaste to all. Welcome to the talk on the topic of Pramana. As it turns out, it is an extremely important topic in the pursuit of oneness, as we shall see. The word Pramana is made up of, is from the root verb ma. Ma means knowledge. Ma is knowledge. Prama, when you add the prefix pra, it becomes well ascertained knowledge. And then pramayaha karanam, pramanam. So that which aids the knowledge to take place. An instrument of knowledge is called pramanam. This is how the word is derived. It's a very beautiful word. So it shows a basic thing about the quest for knowledge. And here I'm not talking anything big, Brahma Vidya, self-knowledge, any knowledge. You want to know something. And then how do you know it? You need a means of knowing. You want to see a flower. And then the appropriate means of seeing the flower is to open the eyes, and then the flower is there, ready to be an object of sight. You want to find out how this flower, what kind of fragrance the flower has. And then you use your olfactory nerves, you use your nose to find out, oh, this is the scent of jasmine. No, 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 this is rose. No, no, this is lily, like this. And similarly, you want to find out what particular raga, some song or some melody is in, some tune. And then that's why you need the ears to discern the notes. And then the touch of the petal, the flower petal, convinces one. What does it convince? That this is made by Ishvara. Because nowadays you can have lots of artificial flowers, you can have flowers made of velvet, silk, crepe paper, and they may even spray some scent on it to throw you off, the scent. But what is so beautiful is that when you touch it, it clinches it. This is Ishvara made. The touch of the flower is the touch of Ishvara. So like this, we are blessed with these various means of knowledges. We are blessed with them. And this is how knowledge is gained. I, the subject, go about gaining the knowledge of all kinds of objects using the various means given to me. So these 5 sense organs that we just discussed. And of course, one thing we left out was the tongue, taste. And these 5 sense organs, the tongue is very complex because it doubles as jnanendriya, a sense organ, and a karmendriya, an organ of action, both of them. That's why we have to be very, very careful in how the tongue is deployed. It has double the responsibility. And so these 5 means of knowledge, they are all there. And then what, they are all for me. For who? The Pramata. Pramata, Pramatri means knower. For me, the knower. Knower of what? Anything. Anything that you need to know. And anything that you need to know will be there. And then this is for this, these means of knowledge are given to us. It's a very wonderful thing. Without these means of knowledge, we cannot come to know anything. In addition to these, what are called pratyaksha pramanani, the direct ways of knowing, these 5 sense organs, we have at our behest a few other ways of knowing which seem to be based on this pratyaksha, but then they are a little bit indirect. And what are they? There is inference, of course, anumana, inference. And inference is, you see something and then you infer something else. The roads are wet when you wake up in the morning. And what is the inference? It must have rained. There's no other way. You don't come to the conclusion somebody took a big hose pipe and wet all the roads. Nobody thinks like that. So it's very evident that you have not seen the rain. You were asleep when it rained, but you have concluded that this is it must have rained. Otherwise, it's not possible for all the roads to be wet in a uniform way like this. So this is called one-step inference, simple inference, because of which all our lives are, this is how they are, our lives are made like this all the time. Every life is because of so many kinds of inferences. Then after that, we have little more complex inference, multi-step, more than one-step inference. This is the what the whole medical field is made up of, all kinds of inferences. If it works on a rat, definitely it will work on a human being. Many of the what should I say, the tests, etc., conducted on animals, and then they are extrapolated to human beings. Multi-step inference. And no need to go into the science field also. The parent does multi-step inference, especially if they have teenage children. Where were you? You came late. No, mom. No, dad. I was at my friend's house. Well, you were not at any of the friends' houses. Why? Because I called them and you were not there. What were you doing? Multi-step inference. Every parent is an expert on multi-step inference called arthapattihi. Anyatha upapattau, because it is not possible any other way. You were not at your friends, you were not in the study group, you were not there. Therefore, what? You must have been at the movies, or you must have gone to the mall, or whatever it is. This is what is called arthapatti. So we have covered so far three kinds of means of knowledge that we have for ourselves. Artha, first is the direct, all five are one, okay? The first five are one. The first group of five sense organs, one. And then we have, what do we have? We have the one-step inference. We have multi-step inference. Then in addition, we have two more ways of knowing. And what are they? They have to do with, one of them is called upama. This is not what you have for breakfast. This is not a breakfast item. This is upama, which means not upma. Upama means comparison. You take a known entity and then you compare it to an unknown entity, and then when you then find out what the unknown entity is like, you understand it is very similar to the known entity. So many examples in daily life we have. So we can say, for example, that if somebody has never seen a zebra, you can say this: what is a zebra? It's like a donkey wearing white and black stripes. This is exactly what a zebra is. Donkey, known entity; zebra, unknown entity. So when you meet the zebra, when you see the zebra, you go to a sanctuary or something and you see the zebra, then then you say, aha, okay, it looks just like a donkey, but it has vibhuti stripes. It has black and white stripes. And so this is exactly how the upama functions. I got this idea because I read somewhere that in the Palestinian zoo they had they just either didn't have donkeys or could not get it on time before the zoo opened. So zebras, sorry. So they took a pair of donkeys and painted them black and white and put them on display. Unfortunately, it rained. All the stripes gone, and then everybody knew this is actually a donkey. So this is what is called upama. This also we operate every day. Oh, this is just like that. Oh, you must go here. Have you gone there? And yes, I've gone to place A. Place B is just like that, but much better. We talk about this, we use this all the time in the everyday life. We have this all the time, we use it. And then what? Then we have also one more cognition of absence. Cognition of absence. This is an important pramana. Cognition of absence, because supposing if I say, is there a pot in the palm of my hand? You will immediately say what? No, there is no pot in the palm of your hand. And why there isn't any pot in the palm of your hand? Because I don't see I see only the hand. I'm not seeing the pot. So therefore what? The pot must be elsewhere. The pot is elsewhere. The pot is not in the palm of the hand. Pot is somewhere else. And so therefore, this is exactly what is called anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi means the absence of an object in a particular place at a particular time. The absence of an object. So we have to, it is not a absolute total absence. Shunyata. Anupalabdhi is not shunyata at all. It is not total absence. It is absence of a particular object at a particular time in a particular place. There is no water in the water tank. When? Right now. that is one more example of anupalabdhi. There is no rice in the pan. When? Right now. And so this is exactly how anupalabdhi operates. It must not be thought that this is somehow giving you total absence. Total absence is not there. If you say the truth of the world is zero, and then who is the one saying that? Me the great. If you say that, then who are you? Are you existing or not? You can't say, let me wait till I pinch myself and then I will tell you if I'm existing. You don't need proof. You immediately say, yes, I am. I am here. I am existing. So that shows something very, very important. So the existent person cannot be denied. A conscious being, you, cannot be denied in calling the whole world zero, shunya. So here, anupalabdhi is always in relation to the particular object in a particular place at a particular time. There is no water in the reservoir or in the river, or there is no water in this glass. It's an empty glass. Like this we can talk. So this is another way, a means of knowledge, the cognition of absence, anupalabdhi. Now, for the human being, these are the 5 means of knowledge. These 5 pramanas help us to lead our lives and help us to know all the things in the world as objects that we would like to find out, that we would like to have information about. And this is what helps us to do research. This is what helps us to write books. This is what helps us to do all kinds of things in the world. These are the 5 means of knowledge. In fact, we shouldn't make it human centric. In fact, even animals do this. They have the 5 pramanas, most of the animals. We are not talking of some exceptions like reptiles, etc. Some of them may not have some things, but generally they have the 5 pramanas. Dogs, cats, etc. They have the pratyaksha. And then Adi Shankara says that they also have anumana. They can also make inference. You tell the dog, pet dog, sit. First it looks at your hand. Do you have a treat? Do you have a dog biscuit or a dog treat? No. Okay, I'm not going to sit. Why should I sit? Only if you have a dog treat, I will sit. So it makes that inference. I need not sit because I'm not gaining anything as a result of sitting. And Adi Shankara, says this very beautifully. He doesn't talk of pet dogs and dog biscuits, but he talks of cows. So you go to a cow in a farmer's enclosure. You now become what is called Trinapani. Trinapanihi. Meaning, in your hand, you are the wielder of a bunch of grass in your hand. And you walk into the enclosure, the cow is somewhere at the back grazing, and the cow, you make some noises, come, and then the cow looks at you, more importantly looks at the hand, and slowly ambles over, because it has made the inference you are not a threat. In fact, you are giving it a treat. Then the next day, you go into the same enclosure wielding a big club. Dandapanihi. You are now Dandapanihi, the wielder of a club. And then you go into the enclosure, all the cows run away if they take one look at you. And they don't think, oh, yesterday there was grass, and so today there is a club. They don't think like that. So maybe this person is safe. No, they see the stick, it's enough. They see the stick bearing person, and they don't stick it out. They immediately, they are all gone from there. Animals also deploy these means of knowledge. Animals also need knowledge too, for two reasons. They need this kind of a knowledge to be able to, for the propagation of their species, and to be able to know who is like me, because this is how the species gets propagated. So they need to know that, and they also need to know who is not like me, predators. This is how the species furthers to protect from predators and to reproduce. This is why this is the main reason why these means of knowledge are also given to animals. As this is samanam as to the human beings. But you see, for the human beings, just protecting ourselves from predators, real and perceived, I might add here, just protecting ourselves from predators, and then just basically, what is that called? Just basically propagating our species does not seem to be sufficient. Does not seem to be sufficient. It's not sufficient. If it were sufficient, then we would not have this Global Festival of Oneness. We wouldn't. And we would not have any other pursuits which have to do with our some kind of an inner cry and inner yearning for this oneness, and inner yearning to know the truth of the I. That yearning is not there for animals, because, as I said, they are more or less programmed to protect themselves, programmed for survival, programmed to reproduce. And so even though we share the same bunch or a batch of means of knowledge with the animals, it is a different thing altogether. Very, very different issue altogether. So this is where the thing comes. In the case of the animal, if it is allowed to live, a cow, let us say, if it is allowed to live, and if it does not end up between two slices of buns, as a hamburger, it is happy. It is happy. It is not wanting to go to America. It is not wanting to make a better life for its calves, and the calves of the calves, and the calves of the calves of the calves of the calves of the calves. For 7 generations, it is not wanting to keep anything. It does not hoard grass. This is for my baby when it grows up, and then this is for my baby's baby. No, lives in the moment. And even though it has Atma Ajnanam, all animals have Atma Ajnanam. Human beings also have Atma Ajnanam. Atma Ajnanam means, what does it mean? Ignorance of the I. Ignorance of the I as what? Ignorance of the I as connected to, or in fact as the source of the universe. That is called self-ignorance. This is also samanam. Animals have it. And then what? The human beings also have it. But strangely, the self-ignorance does not become a cause of consternation and despair. And in other words, self-ignorance for the animal does not create discontent, samsara, what we call samsara. Why? Because they seem to be happy with their lot. As long as I said they are not abused, killed, etc., they're allowed to lead their lives, and they're allowed to, there is in Gujarat we have retirement home for the for the cows, which is very, very nice, wonderful. So as long as they're allowed to lead their lives, they're not discontented. In fact, they are happier than all of us put together. They seem to be fine. They are much more forgiving, much more accommodating, and they know how to lead their lives without always complaining all the time. They know how to raise their babies without saying, "Oh, I don't know, so complex," and what to do. They don't worry about it. And so, but for the human being, the self ignorance manifests in two ways. One way is, I don't know myself. This is samanam, even the animal doesn't know itself. But the second way is more important here, which the animal doesn't have. Therefore, I come to conclusions about myself that are incorrect. And this is what the animal doesn't have. The animal doesn't say, the dog doesn't say, there is a spelling mistake in my name. In fact, it should be G-O-D. It is now D-O-G. What a terrible karma I have. It doesn't say that. And a mongrel, a street dog, does not say, I don't come from a pedigree. I have neither degree nor pedigree. It doesn't say that. It is happy being what it is. It is exactly okay, however it is. However it is okay. It is not worried about itself. And this is because the human being is not programmed. Bhagavati, the mother of the universe, has given the human being the total freedom. Total freedom. Freedom to be, freedom to think, freedom, complete uninhibited awareness, freedom to know, freedom to act, freedom to come to conclusions about who? About oneself and about the Jagat, and also about Ishvara, the cause of the Jagat. Very, very interesting. So there is this total freedom. And this total freedom is both a blessing and a challenge. I won't call it a curse. It's a challenge to be overcome. Why is it a blessing? Obviously. Ichha Shakti in full measure. Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. The power to desire, the power to act, the power to know, all this uninhibited. And then, but at the same time, it's a challenge because it leads one to judge oneself and thereby develop calluses of self-judgment, self-critique, self-loath, pain, sorrow, which is why we need things like the Global Festival of Oneness, so that we can immerse in it for a whole month and then, get rid of this ignorance. At least make the strides to get rid of this ignorance. This is exactly why it is needed. This is exactly how the ignorance has to be dispelled. So this, the second part two of Atma Ajnana, self-ignorance, is the one that causes all kinds of problems. Every single problem is from this alone. Why? Because I am so free that I'm free enough to judge myself. And since I don't know myself, part one, I make judgments based on these five means of knowledge that are at my behest. I look at myself and find myself wanting. Nobody likes their weight. Nobody likes their height. That's why the high heel shoe market will never go out of fashion. Never. because everybody is wanting in terms of height, wanting, in terms of weight, too much or too little, and then wanting in terms of skin color, wanting in terms of hair color, wanting it in terms of the kind of hair. People who have curly hair want to go and make it straight. The beauticians, therefore, are always occupied. People who are blessed with straight hair want to make it curly. And this is exactly how it is. A mad world. Absolutely mad world. If you have 1 degree, it's not enough. Then you have to do postgraduate. Then after postgraduate, then something else. Then, you start, half the life is gone in study. And by the time you finish the postdoc, then what, it is it is time to retire. One is already in the 50s. This is how the life is. No satisfaction, nothing. And this is all because the Ajnanam part 1, not knowing myself, overlaid by Ajnanam part 2, therefore coming, because, therefore coming to the conclusion, I am wanting. This is the culprit. This is what drives us to Vedanta in drones, especially during this coronavirus, because this Vedanta has flourished. That's why I call it Karuna virus, because it has helped us to really bring the best of ourselves. Nothing else to do. All the movies on Amazon and Netflix have already been binge watched, and so all that is left is to say, okay, let me try this, because nothing else is working. Vedanta is always, remember, the last resort. How do we know? It is called, that's why there is the word anta there. Vedanam anta. It comes at the end. When all the resorts have been exhausted, you have gone to all the resorts, you have gone to, here, there, some island somewhere, some sanctuary somewhere, some mountain somewhere, to just get rid of this wanting nature. And there is one resort, what is that? Sandal resort, this resort, that resort, everything. Everything has been exhausted. And then finally, all right, all right, all right. I have to just open my computer and plonk myself in front of it. Let us give this a try. This is how one falls into the lap of Vedanta. One falls into the lap of Adi Shankara. This is actually, it is a very celebrated, moment. Before we go further, we have to say something about these wrong conclusions about the self. A short but a very crucial, very important note. Now, if you ask the question, why is there a mistake? Why do I make a mistake centered on the self? Why on earth do I make a mistake centered on the self? How come I make a mistake? If I am the whole, if I am one with Ishvara, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, etc., etc., Prajnanam Brahma, I am Atma Brahma, this is all one, this is Brahman, I am this Brahman. The Upanishads shout. All the Upanishads shout out and proclaim this. And so, if all of this is there, then why is it that I do not know? Plus, I have all these means of knowledge. Then, how come I don't know? What is it that I want? What is it that I do not know? And so, therefore, this is something which is very, very exciting and interesting to understand. What is it why is it that I do not know? And we go to the age-old example to illustrate this. A very typical Vedanta example, rope snake. The rope that is lying in the backyard, or a hose pipe, or anything you can take, which is mistaken for the snake. The mistake is not made during broad daylight. In the daylight, when do you say, oh, this is a snake? No. If anybody says in broad daylight, they have to have their head examined. There is no other way of, no other conclusion to come to. In broad daylight, you cannot have this mistake. And then, can you make this mistake when it is pitch dark on a Amavasya night? New moon, they say. Actually, it is no moon. On a no moon night, can you make this mistake when there is no other light? No, because the rope is not available for sight to make a mistake on. This is very important. So when is the mistake made? This example is always given at and in the time frame of this example is twilight or early baby dawn. During that time when the sun is not yet risen and somehow little daylight has crept through the sky. Then you see something lying there, indistinct, and immediately, based on the fear in the heart, in the head, oh my God, OMG, it looks like a snake. What to do? Oh no, it has three bends. And let's say the rope is frayed. Frayed means it's just come apart like this and it looks like that. The split tongue of the snake. Actually, the rope is not frayed. You are frayed of this rope because you mistake this rope for the snake. So this is exactly how this ajnanam operates. The ajnanam turns into part two, the mistake, because of this reason and this reason alone. What is the reason? The reason is because I'm not able to understand this. I'm not able to, understand myself. If the I, called the Atman in Sanskritam, if the Atma were completely unknown, there would be no mistake upon it. No mistake at all. You don't know. That's all. You don't know so many things, but then they don't cause problems. You don't know the name of so many countries, they don't cause problems. You don't know the name of their capitals, they don't cause problems. So many things don't cause problems. But then certain things cause problems. Why? Because, it is partially known. When it is fully known, it doesn't cause problems. When it is unknown, totally, fully unknown, it doesn't cause problems. But when the Atma is partially known, like the aforementioned rope, it can be mistaken for the snake. In the same way, the I is neither unknown nor fully known. I cannot say, I don't know myself. I cannot say that because all we have to do is ask a question. Are you here? First, people look at one another, especially if I do this in a live setting. People say, What kind of a question is this? Is this a trick question? Then they find out I'm serious. And then they say, Yes, I am here. And that yes is coming from that all knowing I, self evident I, self effulgent I, self existent I. In Sanskritam, it is called Swatasiddha I, Atma. Swatasiddha Atma. The Atma is already known. The Atma is known as existent. I am. I am means what? Then the next question for me to ask you is, how do you know that you are? Which pramana are you operating? Please tell me. Can you see that you exist? Well, no, I can only see my body in the mirror. Then do you infer that you exist? Some people tried that. Some philosophers tried that. I think, therefore I am. They tried to use the anumana, a kind of inference, to talk about this. So they tried to use anumana, inference, and they said, oh, this is what it is. I think, therefore I am. There was a French philosopher by the name of Descartes. I think, therefore I am. So in sleep, he doesn't exist, or what? Because there is no thoughts in sleep. Do you exist in sleep? Yes. Supposing somebody came and said, oh, do you think it will rain today? And you say, I don't think so. So when you say, I don't think so, you stop thinking? No, you are very much there. Thankfully, the philosopher was very intelligent and then he revised the statement and He said, I am, therefore I think, therefore I act, therefore I know, therefore I do. I am. Therefore I know means no objects. I am. And this is exactly, so then, this is what happens if you put day horse before day cart before the day horse. This is what happens. And so therefore we have to understand this very, very well. This I is independent of thought. The I is independent of action. The I is independent of anything else in this Jagat. When you say, I am, I exist, it's an independent existence. A completely independent existence. Not dependent on anything at all. And then if I ask you, how do you know you exist? You just say, I know, somehow I know. So that I am is equal to I know I am. I am is equal to I know I am. I know I exist. And how do you know? Without the help of a pramana. No pramana comes into the picture to establish the existence of the Atma. You don't need, you cannot see it. It is not the body. It is the truth of this body, mind, sense complex. It is not the mind. It is the content, the truth of the mind. It is not the senses. It is that because of which the senses operate. It is that because of which the mind operates. It is that because of which even ignorance comes to light. It is all light, it is all knowledge, and it is ever free and ever present all the time. This is what is Sat Chit Ananda. That is how the Atma, the I, is defined, described in the Upanishads, in all the works of Vedanta that come and they talk about the message of the Upanishads. In all of them, this is exactly what is described, what is talked about. Amazing, So just in the words I am, the whole Shastra unfolds itself at your feet. Amazing. This is all based on the self. The whole Vedanta Shastra is based on the fact of the self-existent, self-revealing Aham. Aham Asmi. Asmi means what? I am. And what kind of an Asmi is it? Asmi means Bhami. I know, I shine. I know, I shine. And then this is Sat Chit. I know I am. I am and I know this fact without the need for any pramana. And then what? I am forever. But this is a little bit of a, don't you think this is a little bit of a stretch? I know I am, I can understand. And then I know I can understand, I am, I can understand, but forever? It's very easy. Now. The word now tells it all. Whenever you utter the word, I know I am, it is always now. That's why it's the present tense. It is always now. But yesterday also I said I am, but that was now. But tomorrow I may say I am. That will again be now. But what if I say I am now, I am now, I am now, I am, I now am now, I am now, I am now. For the next 3 days, it will still be now, 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 now. So are we talking of a series of nows? Yes. A series of now is forever. Now is forever. Are you unhappy now? Let me think. Well, that moment has gone. Are you unhappy now? No. Are you unhappy now? No. Are you unhappy now? No. But I want to be a, what is it called? Devil's advocate. Yes, I am unhappy now. If somebody were to say that, I would say, you know what? That was, that moment has gone when you said yes. Now are you unhappy? You can never say yes. Ahamasmi sada bhami kadachinnahamapriyah brahmaivahamiti siddham atas siddham satchidananda lakshanam. One of the opening verses of the Advaita Makaranda, the pollen of non-duality, immortality. And very beautiful poem where at the end he invites all the bees. Who are these bees? They want to drink, they want to eat the pollen, and they want to spread the pollen, collect it on their legs, and spread the pollen everywhere. And who are these bees? The people that have learned to just be. That's why they're called bees. Okay. So this is the verse, one of the opening verses from the Advaita Makaranta. Aham asmi, I am. Sada bhami. This fact is always known to me. I am, I am, I am, I am. I know, I am, I know, I am. Kadachit na aham apriyaha. I am never an object of, apriya means object of hatred. There is even though I say I don't like myself, even though somebody may say that, and then you ask, what is it that you don't like? I don't like how I think. I don't like what I have. I don't like what I don't have. I don't like how I look. This is what they will say. Nobody can say that this I know I am is an object of consternation, is an object of discontent, simply because it's not an object. It is the subject, it is you. Besides, there is this yearning for this happiness. There is this yearning for love. There is this yearning to be validated. There is this yearning to be connected. There is this yearning to no longer be alienated from oneself, from the rest of the people, from the whole. There is this yearning to be just one with everything. And that oneness is there always, not just during this month of the global festival. Even before the festival, the oneness is there, which is being highlighted in this month. And then even after the festival finishes, we bid goodbye to the festival till next year. Still that oneness will continue to be there because it happens to be your nature. Oh, is that so? Yes. Then if that is so, then how come I still am subject to samsara? You yourself said I don't need any pramanas to know this. It is this, the I is not based on a pramana at all. Yes, this is true. The I is not based on a pramana. Correct? So Sat, my existence, is not based on being discovered by a pair of eyes or some inference. Correct? The fact that I am all knowledge, that this knowledge is built into this Sat, the existence, is also not a subject matter for the Pramana. Yes, for the means of knowledge. Yes. And that I am lovable, or that I somehow know that this kind of a life that I'm leading, full of discontent, full of pain, full of sorrow, filled with all kinds of incompleteness and fragmented existence, is not the norm. Somehow I know that, and that also is not based on a pramana. Correct. Then why do I need these any pramanas? Why do I need the pramanas? This is now you are coming into the proper line of thinking in understanding that for to get rid of this ignorance, none of the pramanas that we spent time talking about earlier in the discussion is of any use to know the nature of the I. The nature of the I eludes because of the problem of misidentification. The adhisthana, the source, is not known. I am the cause of this universe. That awareness, that consciousness which I call myself, that ability to witness everything, that which obtains as the witness, but even after there is nothing to witness, it still is aware of itself. And that awareness is indeed the raw material, so to speak, as though of this entire universe. Not only I am Satchidananda, every rock is Satchidananda, every plant is Satchidananda, every mountain is Satchidananda, every river is Satchidananda, the sky is Satchidananda, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi, everything. All the five elements are Satchidananda. Every bhutas are Satchidananda. Bhautikas, things that have come from the bhutas, elements and elementals, all of them Satchidananda, 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 Satchidananda. Therefore, oneness. This is not pramana prapta. From the five pramanas, you cannot get this. Why? Because sight is of no use to correct this mistake that I am wanting, I am small, I am alienated, I am not famous. I have, no matter how much I accomplish, somebody else there is one upmanship. I can never stand up. I am not accepted. I am wanting in terms of height, weight, bank balance, definitely. And I'm wanting in all these ways. There is no way of correcting this mistake because it is really a mistake to be corrected. It is not this, all this that we say has an empirical, apparent reality, but it is not that which is you. Not at all that which is you. So, therefore, there is a mistake made on the self. Centered on the I, there are so many mistakes because the I is mistaken for the object and the I is not understood as the subject. Therefore, there is this mistake. And then one mistake piles on another mistake. I am finite. I am subject to death. First mistake. On top of this mistake, therefore I am incomplete. Therefore, in this life, I have to accomplish all these things. Make lots of lists, including bucket list. Bucket list means before you kick the bucket, all the things you you want to do, you write in a list. And I tell you, no Hindu should make bucket list, really, because we have a very easy understanding. There is karma, and next life is there, and then life after that is there. There are many lives to fulfill the desires. So then one is at once confronted with two kinds of eyes, two kinds of aham. The one aham, there is a split there. So forget about the duality outside. There seems to be, quote unquote, a duality within, an inner duality. And what is this inner duality? One I seems to be contented, happy, accommodative, and appreciative, and it seems to be just fine. Oh, I don't know what kind of eye you are talking about. That's not my eye. Yes, it is your eye too. When? When you are asleep. You are happy, you are contented, you are free. You have no complaints, no credit card debt, no worries about no worries about the dissatisfying job, no worries about not having job satisfaction, no worry about house, no worry about spouse, nothing. In fact, in sleep you have moksha. Well, truly, you have moksha. Even if you want to argue that other people, when you sleep, have moksha from you because they don't have to deal with you. That's for sure. Okay. Yeah. So, this is what it is. In sleep, you are free. This is one eye that you confront. And then when you're in a good mood, whatever that means, good mood means when your desires are more or less fulfilled for 5 minutes, you are totally free. When the desires are finished, you have, you are free because right now you don't have any kind of, there is no pressure. There is nothing. You are okay. I'm fine. I'm okay. And you can be very charitable. Somebody, says something mean. You say, Chalo, chhod diya, it's okay. I have let you be because, you are lucky. Today I'm in a good mood, so I'm not going to squabble with you. I have just let it be. You can afford to be accommodative and appreciative. In fact, it is that I that you love. This is one I that one encounters. And the other I preponderates in the waking state, maybe to a lesser extent in the dream state also, if you have nightmares, etc. And what is this I? Demanding, discontented. Why me? What's wrong with me? Nobody loves me. Nobody appreciates me. This is like a raga. Yes, a new raga. And what is that called? Jiva. This is the raga's name itself is Jiva. Jiva means alienated, ignorant individual. One that has ascribed for oneself an individuality because of this sense of alienation which has been taken to be real. So these two eyes battle for supremacy. I really want to be the non-demanding, appreciative, compassionate, contented, and non-judgmental being. That's what everybody wants. No matter you ask anywhere, anybody, anyhow, that is exactly what they will want. I want to be that. But then I find myself getting angry. I'm not tranquil. No shanti. I find myself getting upset. I find myself getting distressed. I find myself getting subject to shoka. And, shoka means sorrow. And why there is sorrow? Because life is full of shock. Shoka leads to shoka. And then I have sorrow, I have pain, I have fear. Shoka bhaya. Now tell me, how are you going to correct this? Which means of knowledge will you use? No, I just have to see things clearly. I think I'll use my eyes. Atma is not an object of sight. It is not an object at all. So sight, it's not. It doesn't make a sound. No sound. Atma doesn't make a sound. Some people say, oh, the sound comes when you're meditating. That is the sound. That is not the sound made by Atma. That is just gastric juices settling themselves after your morning tea or whatever you have. Kuru kuru kuru, gudu gudu gudu. Those are not Atma sounds. Okay, Atma doesn't make a sound. Sound navidyate yasya, that is Atma. No sound. And then it doesn't have, it is not an object of olfactory nerves. You cannot, pick up some smell of Atma. Atma doesn't taste like something. Atma is not any of these things. So the Pratyaksha, big wrong, big cross. Pratyaksha has been cut off to you for trying to correct the mistake based on the I, centered on the I. Oh, doesn't matter. Pratyaksha only is cut off. No, I have inference number one. Inference number one, we already saw what poor Descartes did. Descartes was not able to, not able to sustain his first hypothesis. I think, therefore I am. So inference does not work because Atma is the nature. We are talking about the nature of the inferer. That is what we are talking about. Then what else is there? Then the second type of inference also gone. We may as well, same logic applies. Then what? Then upama, atma dot 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 is like, what is it like? It is not like anything. It is unlike everything else that you know. It is not like anything. And there's only one of its kind. If you want to compare, you need minimum two things. You can't just have one thing and then base a comparison on that one thing, because anything you compare with that one thing, it will be unlike that. Like space. What is space like? Tell me. There's only one space, right? Yeah. So what can you compare space to? You can't compare space to anything. Space is space. Atma is Atma. And so therefore, that, the upama is not available to you. Then what? What else is there? Anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi means the cognition of absence. Yippee, Atma is absent. Who is saying? The one who says, I am existent, I am here now, I am. That one is saying, I am absent? No, not possible. In order to say, I am absent, there should be it begs the presence of a conscious being. So there is no absolute absence at all. Absolutely not. And so all these pramanas, they are they are bidding goodbye with a hanky. And this is why the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha Anandam Brahmano Vidvan Na Bibheti Kutascha Neti, where the mind beats a retreat, not having been able to lasso the Atma, to catch the Atma and bring it back. And the speech, which is very good, best friends, BFF, best friend forever, with the mind, is equally helpless to articulate about what the Atma is like. It's unable to do that. This shows all the five Pramanas surrender. They surrender to what? To a new Pramana that has to be brought in. This is Vedanta. Vedanta itself is the pair of eyes that we need to, quote unquote, see the Atma, know the Atma. Atma va are drashtavyah, shrotavyah, mantavyah, nididhyasitavyah. That's all we need. It is the pair of eyes. It is the pair of ears. It is whatever we don't have. That is what the pramana is. Shastra pramana, shabda pramana. And so, but why should I have shabda pramana? Shabda pramana you need because you have exhausted all other possibilities. Oh, okay. So what do I have to do? Surrender, just like the mind and the speech surrendered in this particular mantra which I chanted. That is the surrender of the student to the teacher. Surrender does not mean you're just falling at the feet of an individual. This is not about an individual. This is not about having authority issues and saying, why should I surrender? What's wrong with me? I can know this on my own. You cannot know this on your own. You cannot. But the Upanishads have been translated. Jai Ho, Max Muller. Somebody can say that. Max Muller was one of the first people to translate the Upanishads. Okay, read the Upanishad. What will you get? That is whole. This is whole. You take out the whole. From the whole, what is left is one whole. One big hole in the head is what is left. If you read these kinds of translations of the mantra Purnamadaha Purnamidam, which is actually a Mahavakya, which is unfolding this oneness. But I don't see it unfolding the oneness when I read it. Exactly. Why not? Because the Upanishad is speaking in a particular way that has to be unlocked. And where is the key? The key is in the hands of the gurus. The key is in the hands of the gurus, starting with Lord Dakshinamurti Shiva. He gave the key to Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, Sanat Sujata, four of his students. And then finally Guru Shishya, Guru Shishya, Shishya, Guru Shishya, Guru Shishya, Guru Shishya. Then Adi Shankara got the key. And then what did he do to the key? He did wonderful things to that key. He polished the key and he made it easy to operate. He polished the key, made it shiny so that we are all attracted to it. And then he has been giving the key from generation to generation to generation of gurus who were shishyas, who then became gurus, who then hand the key to the shishyas. This is what is the Upanishad. This is not something to be read. This is something to be understood from a place of surrender. And the surrender is needed, just as I said at the beginning of this talk, because all other options have been fully exhausted, completely exhausted. What are you going to do? How are you going to do? Not only options are exhausted, you are exhausted. So, and plus, to make matters more complicated, there in the so-called spiritual world is a whole confusing set of diktats. Catch the nose, catch the toes, and breathe. Breathe out, breathe in the moksha, breathe out samsara. If that was so easy, why would you be here? For that matter, why would I be here? We are here because we are trying to grapple at this problem. We are grappling at this problem, catching the problem from the source. And the problem here is precisely this, that I lack self-knowledge because I lack the appropriate means to understand to correct the mistake of who I am. Because it is the mistaken I that is the cause of fear and sorrow, shoka, bhaya, not the known I. The known I is never a cause of sorrow. And even the unknown I cannot be a cause of sorrow. We saw this earlier. And so this partially known I, like the the lunar eclipse coming next week. So partial. So the mind is partially eclipsed. राहुग्रस्थ दिवाकरेन्दु सदृशो माया समाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रः करणोपसंहरणतो यो भूत्सु सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्वाप्समिति प्रबोधसमये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. So this Atma Ajnanam has eclipsed as though the knowledge of the I, just like the sun or the moon caught by Rahu or Ketu, the shadow planets. And for that, we need a dispeller of this shadow, which is the Shastra. The Shastra and the Guru are identical because the Shastra, in revealing the nature of the I as Satchidanandam Brahma, as Brahman, as Ishvara, as the cause of the universe, dispels the sorrow. And so the pramana is inbuilt into the Shastra, but needs a key. It needs a key. If you buy the books of the Upanishad, it's like buying a big suitcase and taking it home, but without the combination to open it. You neither have the key nor the combination lock. You're struggling to open it. That is how it is. That is why the teacher is needed here. The surrender is not to an individual. The surrender is to have to that exhaustion. Oh my God, I am so tired of trying to find answers. I'm so tired of going all over the place, catching the nose, catching the toes, doing this, doing that, all these things. This is why I need help. And very, very, very important. One needs help. And strangely enough, one is able to ask for help in all other areas. That's why everybody is called a guru these days. Of course, dance gurus insist on being called guru. And then music gurus. And then forget that. Then there is cooking guru and stock market guru, life guru. And we don't have any problem connecting to all these people. But when it comes to something which is so intimate, so personal, and makes such a big difference, the differences between light and darkness, the differences between happiness and sorrow, still we want to say, I want DIY Vedanta, do it yourself Vedanta. What kind of a madness is this? What kind of an ahankara is this? This is why the ahankara has to submit, has to surrender, has to raise its hands in despair and say, I give up. It's actually not a bad thing to give up here. Allowing oneself to give up is the first step into this Atmajnanam. I give up trying to figure it out. I need help. And this is what the pramana is. In fact, the very definition of pramana means it should fulfill three things. First, it should be anadhigata. Anadhigata means not available for any other means of knowledge. It is true of every pramana. If I can see, let's say I want to look at an apple, if I can see it with my own eyes, then I don't need to hold the apple to my ears and say, okay, my eyes say this is an apple, is this correct? Oh ear, please tell me. It will not be of any use. The pramana is a king in its own territory, each pramana. It cannot be substituted at all. If it is form, color, then this is exactly what is needed. Eyes are what is needed. If it is Atma Ajnanam, Shastra Pramana, Shabda Pramana, the Pramana which is in the form of the words handled by the Guru is what is needed. And so this is the first condition of what makes something a Pramana, Anadhigatam. And then Arthabodhakam. Arthabodhakam means it should make sense. It should make sense. When you see something, it should register. It should be understandable. That is a very, very important second condition. Third one, it should be phalavat. Phalavat means it should be of use to me. Supposing somebody says, crows in heaven are white. Big deal. How is that going to help me here? No use at all. Like that, you have so many pieces of knowledge which are of no use at all. In Mars, the earth is of this particular kind. No use. So it should be meaningful to you, meaning it should be purposeful in taking away the shackles of samsara, of pain, sorrow, and feeling of notion of bondage. Even though we say it's an ocean of bondage, it's just a mistake centered on the self, which has to be corrected. Therefore, it's that knowledge which makes this ocean of samsara into a notion of samsara is what is called Shastra, which is in the form of a means of knowledge to which you don't have access. There is a fundamental difference between the pramanas that you operate and the pramanas that is operated for you by the Guru and the Shastra combined. In the pramanas that you operate, the pramata, the ahankara is active. The knower is very much there. The knower is never displaced. The knower keeps on collecting knowledge and feeling good. Yes, I'm great. I'm wonderful. I know this. Now I know this. Now I know that. But in this, in knowing oneself, the ahankara, the pramata, the knower itself is displaced. This is a knowledge of the I without needing a knower. As I told you, it's independent of everything else. Without needing the knower. This is exactly what it is. It is just amazing. So it is a knowledge without a knower. It's a knowing being already. That had mistaken itself, this knowing being, under the influence of the eclipse of Atma Ajnanam, of self-ignorance, had mistaken itself to be something that it is not. Mistaken itself to be finite, mistaken itself to be incomplete, mistaken itself to be small. And now it is because of this knowledge, it is revealed to be all, not small. It is revealed to be God, not odd. It is revealed to be the cause, not because. This is not a small thing. And so therefore, the pramana means I need to give, I need to be receiving the pramana. That is receptivity. That is surrender. Surrender is not to an individual. In fact, don't surrender to any individual. That is not what we say at all. In fact, should I not surrender to the Guru? How do I know which is the correct Guru? The correct Guru is the one who does not require your surrender. That is the correct Guru. That is the proper Guru. The one who doesn't require your surrender becomes a fitting altar of surrender. That is what it is. That's why we say the knowledge of the self happens despite yourself. In spite of yourself, the knowledge takes place, not because of you. It is a knowledge that takes place in the mind, not because of the mind. The mind is brought in through the back door as a servant, as a place where the knowledge takes place. It is not the agent of this knowledge. And so therefore the surrender, and therefore the proper attitude. And the proper attitude is called Shraddha. Shraddha, that which is, reverential, that is Shraddha. An attitude of devotion and reverence because I really badly, madly want this knowledge. And so that Shraddha, the more the Shraddha is cultivated, the more easy it is to gain this knowledge, really. Because otherwise, you keep listening to all kinds of things, and then what will happen? Nothing happens. Business as usual. You go from one talk to the next, and then the whole month is gone of this Oneness festival. To make the most of the Oneness festival, the best thing to do is to come with an open mind. a mind that is open to hearing what is being said, that before coming into some conclusions based on a faulty infrastructure, on a flawed set of wrong conclusions. You can't keep repeating the mistake. You can make new mistakes every day, but don't repeat the same mistake. That is the main thing. And so, therefore, this pramana has to be received with Shraddha. And how does this Shraddha look like? The Shraddha looks like the same, situation where the person is on the operating table. The person is about to be wheeled into the operation and is met by the friendly anesthesiologist. And then the anesthesiologist says, I am your anesthesiologist. I just need you to sign here on the dotted line. Oh no, what is it saying? You hadn't figured this. You hadn't figured this into the equation. You had met the surgeon. You had known and toured the hospital and the facilities, but you had never met this anesthesiologist. What is your weight? No one will lie at this point, okay? Just before undergoing anesthesia, because anesthesia is given according to the weight. And so, therefore, you are there, you are in a helpless situation. You have nothing but to do but to surrender. And you sign on the dotted line. Generally, people come back, but maybe if you don't come back, you are not holding us. Nobody is going to hold us responsible. And then what? The surgeon is happy. You have gone under. Why? Because the surgeon doesn't want your input during the operation. I think that's too big a scalpel. Are you cutting in the correct place where the tumor is? I think you're cutting on the other side. Nobody wants this input. The surgeon wants to do her job, his job, without your input, because this has to be removed. There is something offending. So the tumor of Atma Ajnanam has to be removed without your input. That is exact. So just like how in the face of an operation, you have to give yourself over, here also you have to give yourself over. Then only you can reap the benefits. Then only there is the heart, the lotus heart, which is like a tightly wound up bud, opens to the possibility of happiness, opens to that oneness, opens to that. That is why Shraddha, that is why Bhakti, that is why prayer, to ward off all the resistance, to ward off all the fear, so that, oh Lord, oh Goddess, may I ever be, always be open to the Pramanas all the time, open to this Pramana, to this beautiful Shastra Pramana all the time. This is my prayer for everybody. And thank you again for inviting me. I will say the closing prayer and we'll have some time for some discussion questions. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Thank you, Swamiji, for that wonderful, wonderful unfolding of the knowledge. Thank you so much. So you started with explaining the term pramana, and then you also touched upon the 5 types of pramana and the importance of Shabda pramana in the end. And you also mentioned that most of our problems is because of self-ignorant, and how we can gain the knowledge of self through a competent guru, and who can be the key for your knowledge. And you also mentioned that in spite of ourselves, we can gain the knowledge if we have a competent guru. Thank you for that, Swamiji. There are a couple of questions here.
Yes.
One is, the first one was, do plants have a soul?
Yes, I think that's a interesting, very good question. I think I already answered it. So yes,
Yeah.
even rock has soul. It's not able to say that I have a soul because of Sukshma Sharira. Soul here means Atma. Everything is Atma. Some things have Sukshma Shariram, they are able to express. Plants are also able to express. They're able to express. They are able to, that's why they say sing to the plants, they will grow quicker. Why? Because they are able to sense you watering them. They are alive very much. And even if things that are not alive, they also are Atma. That is definitely there. what would happen to the Atma which did not have Atma Jnanam?
Yes,
That's
that's
also a very nice question. Well, if there is a desire for Vedanta and the study and the understanding wasn't complete, one is assured of a human birth, because only in the human birth one can gain this knowledge and do this. But then, if it is if the desire for Vedanta is not there at all, then any strong desire that shows itself, especially towards the end stage of the life, that will demand a particular kind of an appropriate body to fulfill the desires. So that lays bare open, it's an open field. Anything, one can become anything. Just because you are a human being in this life, we need not bank that we will become human beings in the next life also. It is not automatic. It is not a Darwinian evolution. It's a karmic evolution. That is how it is. Yeah.
I have a question of my own.
Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to ask that what is the kind of guru a student should approach for this knowledge? Could you please throw some
Yes.
light on it?
Yes. So, one thing I already touched upon in the talk, a guru who doesn't need surrender. That is the correct guru, because as the Shastras describe, Shastras also give two qualifications for the guru. One is the one who has got the key. The key is important here. The guru is not a personality. The guru is Purusha. That Purusha which you are trying to understand as yourself. The guru becomes the stand in for that Purusha, that Atma that you want to know. So you see, in the guru, you see the embodiment of this knowledge, and then you are able to understand. So the first one is Shrotriya. Shrotriya means the one who got the key to unlock the Upanishads from his guru, from her guru, from his guru, etc., etc. That is Shrotriya. So Shrotriyatvam is very, very important. And then the other one is called, the other qualification for the guru is Brahmanishtha. Brahmani Nishtha Yasya Saha. The one who has Nishtha means abidance in, always, whose mind, whose heart, whose life abides in Brahman only. It's a very wonderful thing, because it doesn't have a lot of irons in the fire. Now, the second qualification, very difficult to know, because you can't drill a hole in the head of the guru and go sit there and find out what kinds of thoughts are taking place. Is it Brahmanishtha, or is the guru a foodie, food nishtha? Where is the nishtha of the guru? You cannot find out. And so, better to go by the safest thing is to find the guru in belonging to a parampara that does not distort the message of the oneness. So that oneness message of the Upanishad, that Aikya, the Jiveshwara Aikya, which does not distort, that is the one we have to catch. That is the guru we have to catch. And but what if they don't have nishtha? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they don't have nishtha, because at least they will not mislead you. The guru may be talking in third person. The Upanishad says, you are Ananda, I am Ananda, we are all Ananda. Maybe crying, the guru gives the message. Doesn't matter, but at least you will not be misled. So go for the Shrotriya, and then if one is blessed to have, along with the Shrotriya, Brahmanishtha also, that is a great blessing. But really choose a Shrotriya. If somebody says, I got this knowledge all by myself, apne aap, then tell them, please enjoy this knowledge. Keep it to yourself. Do not give it to me. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Swamini, for that. Also, somebody has asked, is any simple literature available for us to read? So,
I think the whole talk was about not reading, no?
yes.
Yeah. So then it is difficult to recommend. I don't know what else to say. First, try listening. And then, then perhaps, if you, in this, for example, in this whole month, there will be so many teachers coming and talking. And if you resonate with one of them or a couple of them, then you can see if they have written something, or you can listen to them more, or what kind of a thing, you can do that. So try listening at first, because reading is, it's very commonplace. Reading is a jaded activity as far as Atma Jnanam is concerned. There is complacency, number one. Number two, you bring your own infrastructure into the situation. And so the reading, one misses everything. So the whole idea is to just listen. So listen, and if you connect to a couple of people, then ask them if they've written something, or ask them, if you can listen to them further. That would be a very good way to go about it.
We also have one more. I think it is added to what I was asking. What is the correct way to approach a guru? How to surrender?
Yeah, the Upanishad says, tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva abhigachet samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. So first it says, go ahead and look at everything, enjoy everything. Enjoy within quotes, because really, if things were that enjoyable, nobody would seek this knowledge. Okay, so first go and explore yourself, and explore all kinds of things, do everything, and then just then exhaust all the fields of experiences. Parikshya lokan. So pariksha means having examined all the fields of experiences, and then what? This, as I said, this is the last resort, and then that's why one is prepared, because this is the last resort. Pariksha lokan karma chitan. Understand that all these fields of experiences, these lokas, are karma and karma phala. You find yourself in a wonderful holiday resort, good karma. Oh, the water doesn't work and the room is full of rats, bad karma. This is what it is. This is exactly how the whole thing is. And so therefore, it is all action, reaction, action, result of action. Then understand that self knowledge is not got by action. Nasti akritah kritena. Kritena karmana akritam brahma nasti. This Brahman as yourself, the fact that you are Ishvara, you are non-separate from the whole, non-separate from the Jagat, non-separate from Ishvara, is not something that is a product of, the action. It's not a product. It simply is. It is something to be known as, which is already you. It's something to be known. This is what it is. And so therefore what? So then, tasmat, tad vijnanartham. Now that you know it is to be known, gurumeva abhigachet. Take recourse to a teacher. And how? Samit panihi. Samit means, like all these little sticks which are fallen on the ground, twigs. So make a bundle of twigs and take it to the guru. If the guru is a grihastha, if the guru is married and has a family, then for that this is applicable, because they have to do agnihotra every day. So you present the sticks for the yajna, but then that is just a upalakshana. That is just a metaphor to be ready for service. In fact, the desire to listen and and service are one and the same in most vernacular languages. Shushrusha. Shushrusha means seva, actually, in most vernacular Indian languages, but Shushrusha means shrotum ichha, the desire to not miss anything. And it looks very funny to hang around the guru all the time. And so you say, okay, let me busy myself and be of service. And so that attitude of service is itself the surrender. And one at the same time prays to Bhagavan to remove obstacles such as misunderstanding the teacher, such as resistance to what is being said, and all other obstacles which stop one from connecting to the knowledge and to the teacher. So we pray, we take care of all ways of the obstacles. Thank you very much. It has been a joy and a delight, and I wish the festival, the rest of the festival, the very best.
Thank you,
Om
Swamini.
Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.
Thank you. So after this wonderful talk by Swamiji, we will also have another talk in the evening today at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. The talk is by Swami Tyaganandaji, What is Really Real? And thanks everybody for participating in this. Thank you, Swamiji, again. Thank you.
Om Om. All the best.
Thank you.